What's up, people? We are back with more of Danganronpa 2. We are about to enter through the red door, the very familiar one from Danganronpa 1, but don't get confused, it is still Danganronpa 2. But yeah, we were back at the Hope's Peak Academy, or at least a replication of it, a virtual world, virtual setting of what Hope's Peak Academy is, was supposed to be like back then in the real world. So yeah, we got like a shit ton of information throughout this entire chapter where we just basically, ran through Hope's Peak Academy in a specific order. Like they wanted us, they were guiding us along, like, alright, first you're gonna find this, then this, and this, and that, and that. So I'm not gonna, the information that we were given is definitely, I don't think it's fake or that's being lied about things, but there is possibility for manipulation here because, I understand that we have to be presented this information in a specific order to both make it more understandable and less confusing, but just because it feels that way, that you're sort of being guided along this line, like, alright, these doors you cannot enter, these doors you can, or this door you can only enter. Like, there is room for manipulation, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's gonna happen. But I'm just ready, man. This is the last class trial, or rather it's called graduation exam, but I think it's gonna be fairly similar to a class trial, but we shall find out. He means this red door, right? Do I just have to go in here? If I do that, will this be finished? Oh shit. Holy shit. Oh, it actually spirals more and more. Run towards the light. That's actually a bad thing. I want to go back. I can't. Class Trial Ground 1. Huh? This place. And everybody else is here. Looks like everyone's here.
Damn right.
It seems that this is going to be the final place.
However,
this place is... Is this a trial field? But why is it a trial field? I'm sure it looked like a trial ground, but the vibe is way different from the one from before. That's what Kazuichi said. We've been here before, right? Yeah. This should be the place that the door at the ancient ruins leads to.
Hey.
Huh? It seems pretty strange that we've been in that other building up till now.
Damn it.
It's like we're dreaming or something. If this is a dream, then this, too, is very...
welcome!
So you finally arrived! Congratulations! You guys are the first one to ever beat this game. After stopping by Hope's Peak Academy, you'll finally come back to this place. To the graduation exam site within the ancient ruins of Jabberwock Island. You can give it a fancy name like graduation exam site, but it's no different than a trial ground from before.
Stupid fool!
From before.
Phew!
This trial field actually inspired the one from before. So in a way, this place is the original.
Hey.
Who cares? This graduation exam means we can finally go home, right?
Of course!
If that's what you guys decide...
Huh?
And if we have to decide, what do we have to do?
Now then.
Ahem. Please take a look at the LCD touch panel built into your seats. Ah. Compared to the other trials, the rules are much simpler this time.
Yes, indeed.
There are two options, graduate and repeat, right? You just have to choose one of them and press it. All of you will cast your vote, and whichever one has the majority will be considered your final decision. So we have 5 people, so yeah. Dang. There's always going to be a majority vote, because it's an uneven number, but still. Kinda sucks for the 2 people, if it comes to like a 3-2 vote, Yeah, for the 2 people that... 2 people are going to be sad regardless, unless it's like a unanimous vote or something, but still. Just the fact that you have these 2 options, graduate or repeat. I feel like at the moment, before this actual final graduation exam, obviously everybody thinks like, oh, we want to graduate, but I feel like, you know, once we've been sort of updated between the, or like what the exact situation is outside of this world, some people might change their mind, but we'll find out in the end. If you don't press either of them, you'll be treated as an absence and will not be counted.
In other words,
Which means everyone who has died up till now will have their votes treated as absences.
Then,
The result is based on our majority votes. Ahem. If graduate is chosen by a majority votes, from there, an event that's kinda like a graduation ceremony called the graduation program will begin. Even if we do this stupid majority vote, the result is already pretty damn obvious. Come on, let's move this along. We can press it now, right?
no.
You can't do that yet. I mean, your resolve hasn't firmed yet, right? Your will to be swept away by society's harsh current.
Shut up! Shut up!
Who the hell cares? I'm gonna press it.
What's this?
My. Which of your orifices are used to spew bile? To participate in a graduation program, you need my final say as your teacher, you know? What? Does that mean it won't end with just a majority vote?
That's right.
After the vote, I'm going to judge every single one of you to see if it's okay for you to graduate or not.
Damn it!
So even if we vote, you're saying we won't graduate unless you acknowledge it?
Well...
I'm terribly sorry for being rude earlier.
No way.
But you don't have to worry. There's no way I won't acknowledge your graduations. This is merely a formality. I'm just doing it because that's how it has to be. He's doing it because that's how it has to be? Because he is, I feel, Monokuma, if we got this correct at least, right? I think Monokuma is like the virus, you know? And the virus, despite the virus taking control of the program, he does have limited control. Like, he does have majority of the control, but it is still limited, you know? He doesn't have full control at all. So all of the rules that were set in place beforehand, Monokuma still has to sort of follow those rules. Like, you know, the thing about the graduation exam, if it were up to Monokuma, this graduation exam probably wouldn't be here, but it was already built into this Neo World program from the very beginning, or it's part of the plan, so it's here. Monokuma can't change that or do anything about it, so he's just, you know, he just has to play along with it. So I feel like that's some of the rules as well, like that, and this is part of it. That's why he says it has to be. It doesn't mean he can exert his will over everything. He, too, has a limit. Is that what Alter Ego was talking about? Yep.
Anyway,
If you don't want to do it, you guys still need to do it to solve the mystery. Afterwards, you cast your majority votes, and from there, we move on to the graduation program. But, why do we even have to go through something so dumb? Well, that is... You said... You were waiting for the main cast, right? Oh my god, are we actually going to be seeing them? Which means you're just stalling for time then. Who's the main cast? Oh, no need to worry about it. It has nothing to do with you guys. Really? If it has... Because I feel like, you know, there's a connection between us and the cast of Danganronpa 1. But if Monokuma says it has nothing to do with us... Then, who does he refer to by the main cast? Is it the main cast, like the Ultimate Despairs, that we actually don't know? You know, because there's a sort of, you know, the group that's been left in charge, or that took over after Junko died, which is basically a group full of Ultimate Despairs, or that's how they call themselves. See, this is the confusing part, you know, you don't know which are the good guys and the bad guys at the moment. I feel like I'm really confused about that.
that is...
There is no way it has nothing to do with us. We are the only ones who are involved, you know.
so annoying.
It doesn't matter if you're involved or not. You're just a bunch of chumps in the big picture. That's why it has nothing to do with you. Just perform your roles without complaining. Your roles. Like we're just extras or something, you know? Hold on. What's with that chump comment?
I can't ignore that.
Me neither.
Not that it's important or anything, but make sure you turn off that toy.
I won't forgive you.
How dare you treat him like a toy?
What's this?
I did treat it like a toy. You got a problem with that? I created everything. You're actually picking a fight with me? I'm basically a god. Just how promising can you guys be? I guess this is just the nature of life. Fine then. Before you die, sear my power into your memories. Oh god. So he was causing this as well? Alright, let us go quickly over all the truth bullets. I don't think there are too many. Reserve department, a department populated by reserve corps students who took general exams, in contrast to the main department, which recruited ultimate level students established to secure funds for Hope's Peak Academy. 2,357 students in the reserve department were infected by Junko's despair and committed mass suicide. There was only one survivor, which is apparently Hajime, right? That he is the one survivor. But I feel like the important part, most important part about the reserve department is that it was established to secure funds for Hope's Peak Academy. I feel like that's the important part to know about and remember about the reserve department. Then we got the tragedy of Hope's Peak. Invested all the resources to create Izuru Kamakura, the ultimate hope. Izuru was later involved in an incident in which he brutally murdered 30 members of the student council. Despite the Academy's efforts to conceal this incident, a certain someone took advantage of this incident to provoke the dissatisfied reserve department students into rising against the Academy. A certain someone could refer to Junko, I think, but it wasn't explicitly said, you know, that it was Junko, but it seems to sort of hint at it, but it could definitely be someone else as well. But yeah, that's kind of the important part. There are two tragedies: the tragedy of Hope's Peak Academy, which is, you know, the killing that was partially covered in Danganronpa 1 as well, in that room that Byakuya discovered, and we saw that one room on the 5th floor that was like covered in blood and everything, you know. That's the tragedy of Hope's Peak, and that was like the start signal, the starting point, which then developed further into the tragedy, the worst, biggest, most awful tragedy in mankind history, right? That's just the big tragedy that followed up after this. So then we got the big tragedy. This hopeless event was caused by a group known as Ultimate Despair and was responsible for completely destroying Hope's Peak Academy. Through their utter devotion to a certain person, Junko, they brainwashed the masses and filled countless people with despair. I feel like that's an important part that we definitely didn't really know before, that they brainwashed the masses. Because the thing that I was thinking about it, right, and it was sort of said as well, that the alumni of Hope's Peak Academy from like previous years, you know, before these the killing game started in Danganronpa 1, I feel like those people, they're always guaranteed like a high position or a powerful position in the particular field that they choose or something, you know. So they definitely have the potential and they have the power to be able to brainwash people, or you know, to so I feel like those alumni that actually, I don't know, maybe it was one particular group or something, but they just kind of, you know, turned to the bad side, created this plan to sort of brainwash the people, and then took advantage of this situation that happened at Hope's Peak Academy. Or maybe they even planned that, the tragedy of Hope's Peak Academy, it could have been planned as well, and then they used that tragedy of Hope's Peak Academy to their advantage to brainwash the masses, which then eventually turned into the tragedy. Ultimate Despair, this term was adopted by the group responsible for causing the tragedy, but in actuality it originally referred to a certain female high school student named Junko Enoshima, definitely. However, Junko killed herself at the climax of the killing school life rather, after she lost to the students of Hope's Peak Academy. Yep, that's kind of it. It seems that she has killed herself. I think that's still the case. I don't think she's gonna be like, hey, I'm back. It could be, but I don't know. It's just I feel like the most important part with this is that it's originated from Junko, and then after that was taken over by just a group. Killing school life, as part of the tragedy, Junko and Enoshima forced the students of Hope's Peak Academy to kill each other, filmed their deeds with the surveillance school surveillance cameras, and broadcasted it to the entire world. The biggest point of that was to sort of, you know, show to the entire world that, look, even people that are supposed to represent Hope, they are actually killing each other too, you know. So that was kind of the message that they were trying to spread across the world, which would showcase to the rest of the world as well that, like, fuck, hope is doomed as well. Everything is eventually going to be consumed by despair. The Academy's survivors. According to the report from the Future Foundation, there are apparently 15 students who are known as the survivors of Hope's Peak Academy. It seems that all 15 survivors are safely taken in by the Future Foundation. So this is, I think it seems fairly certain that it refers to us, the crew of Danganronpa 2. Now, the important part here, I feel, is the number 15, right? Because, were there 15 students? I think there were, right? But, is Hajime considered that as well? I like part of that 15 students that survived? I think so. Not sure. And like, where does Nagito come in exactly? I don't know. I feel like that's a little bit confusing to me because remember, that's the whole point that I'm like kind of unsure about with Nagito. Was he really part of Hope's Peak Academy or something, or a student there? Because if this is all a virtual world like it was said, right? There was no need for Nagito to come to supposedly Jabberwock Island on a boat. Yet he was taking a trip on a boat, you know, to what seemingly was Jabberwock Island. Like, we can't say for certain because we just saw water and a bit of land in the distance, but still, it seemed like they were going to Jabberwock Island. But what we've come to learn is that we're not really at Jabberwock Island. We're just in a virtual world that looks like it takes place in Jabberwock Island or something, or well, like we don't even know where we actually are. You know, we could just be like, yeah, we are in a virtual world in Jabberwock Island, but we are in the actual real, like our real bodies are on Jabberwock Island in the real world as well. Like, we don't know exactly where our locations of our real bodies are in the real world either. So there are a lot of possibilities here, but I feel like that's something to just at least keep in mind and think about. Like, like, Nagito was alone. Well, he was with someone else, but those two were together on a boat to seemingly Jabberwock Island, so that seems a little bit contradictory with the limited information that we have about it right now. Remnants of Despair, rather. Even after Junko Enoshima's death, an influential group known as the Remnants of Despair still exists. Unless they are stopped, the tragedy will never end. So basically, I feel like these are the people that took over after Junko Enoshima in a way as well, and Remnants of Despair. That's the part that I'm kind of questioning, or wondering rather. Remnants of Despair and Ultimate Despairs, are they the same, or are they actually different groups? Because I feel like it could also be that they're just different groups that are just, you know, they just admire Junko and that's like what she stood for, and just try to continue the work that of despair that she left behind, and her message of despair, and just, you know, live by that. Could just be two different groups as well, you know, just like in the real world, there's more than one terrorist groups, you know, so it could be that as well, or it's a different one, I don't know exactly. But the one thing apparently is that if these Remnants of Despair are not stopped, the tragedy will never end. So I feel like that's kind of the end goal of at least hope, you know. List of subjects. Everyone's names are written on under this list of subjects. The list is written on a clipped newspaper article. The article was about a woman who looked like a fully grown version of Hiyoko Sayonji. So that's the part that was really weird, right? Because she looked a lot more mature here, but the Hiyoko that we've gotten to know during Danganronpa 2, which I guess is the virtual world, she didn't look that mature. She looked like 12 years old, but it's safe to say that we are all of a similar age, you know, otherwise we wouldn't all be in the same class together. So we are of a similar age, but despite that, Hiyoko looked very kid-like. So, and then we see a picture of her in a more older form. So what does that actually mean? Was there just when they're like trying to like, I don't know exactly how it happened that we are entered into this virtual world, you know? Does it just like recreate an avatar for you inside this world or something, and they actually mixed it up or messed it up with Hiyoko somehow, and actually just, you know, created an avatar of herself, of like her 12-year-old version rather than her, let's say, 18-year-old, if everybody is 18-year-old? I don't know, but there's definitely a contradiction there. The placard on the portrait hanging in the office said Hope's Peak Academy's founder, Izuru Kamakura. So this is the weirdest part, right? This is apparently the ultimate Hope, who is also the Hope's Peak Academy's founder, according to this picture that we found. It's that old freaking man, which I'm definitely sure we found before in the funhouse. There was a picture of him, I think. I'm almost certain it was a picture of him and nothing else. I think it may have said Hope's Peak Academy's founder, I'm not sure, but it definitely did not say Izuru Kamakura. But on this picture it did say, or plaque underneath. So that's really strange as well. We don't know too much about Izuru Kamakura other than that he was supposed to be the ultimate hope. Like, we're probably going to get to it later, but I'm gonna mention it now very quickly, that it seemed like Hope's Peak Academy was actually doing experiments, or and maybe using some of us as test subjects, you know? And it seemed to be all for this one greater hope, which is Izuru Kamakura. That seems to be the case. Hope cultivation plan. For many years, Hope's Peak Academy attempted to create true hope by consolidating the result of all of their research. So here's already kind of the part mentioned, research. It's still somewhat vague exactly what this research is, but it's definitely like, this is one of those things, you know, where we actually start to come to learn, like, hey, wait, what was Hope's Peak Academy really doing? Because this is where it could possibly lie, where we've been built to believe this entire time that Hope's Peak Academy is good, Hope's Peak Academy is good, and now suddenly we start to learn, like, hey, wait, they're doing research and stuff, you know? So this is definitely, if they're gonna flip the script and Hope's Peak Academy actually turns out to be the bad guys, this is definitely where I feel like the you know, this is where it starts, about the fact that we come to learn that they're doing this weird research. Email to Makoto Naegi, to Future Foundation, 14th Division Makoto Naegi, where you guys, what are you doing? So the most important part about this, I'm not gonna read through all of it, is that he seemingly is committing treason, like he's protecting remnants of despair, and that's the strangest part, because according to this email, it seems, I mean, to Future Foundation 14th Division Makoto Naegi. So I think that's fairly certain to say that Makoto Naegi, after they survived the killing school life and entered the real world, basically, that they joined the Future Foundation. But it seems like they committed an act of treason for some reason, are now protecting remnants of despair, and you guys are being lied to. So that actually kind of seems like you guys are being lied to. I feel like it's these two sides fighting against each other. People actually perhaps told Nagito either the truth, or they partly brainwashed Makoto as well. Like, I just feel like there's a conflict between here, right? I feel like Makoto was led to believe all this time like he was working for the good side at Future Foundation, and then he was being told something, and now he's changed his mind about it. And that's where the guys at Future Foundation are like, hey, what the fuck is happening? And then they're trying to win Makoto back, you know, because he's trying to commit treason to them. So they just like, he's being lied to, blah blah blah. But it's still really unclear to say exactly who is the good side, who is the bad side from this. The 6 of you joined the Future Foundation because you agreed with our ideals, right? So that's definitely already a hint, like, the 6 of you, the 6 survivors joined the Future Foundation, yeah. Rescued from tragedy, you survived, yeah, alright, so let's go to the next one. I feel like that's the important part of that. A program created by the Future Foundation, it allows its subjects to experience a synthetic virtual world. It can replace memories formed in the real world with information contained in a synthetic virtual world. Therefore, it is possible to undo trauma sustained in the real world through the use of the virtual world. It was a program for creating hope, but it became filled with death and violence after the virus infected it. So the important part about that is, I think, is the virus infecting it. That seems to be Monokuma sort of intercepting, or at least someone, like, you know, putting that program in there, which is Monokuma, or represents, it shows as Monokuma, which is kind of the remnants that, or a part that Junko left behind even after her death. So I think an important part about Neo World program that was at first something that was only meant to be to help people with the psychotic problems or something along those lines, you know, that it was just a means of helping. And then once military, it's one of those things, you know, where it's an incredible way of helping people, and its original intent was to help people with specific things, and the moment sort of, you know, military or politics gets their hands on it, it actually gets used for war and stuff like that. I feel like this is something quite similar as well, and that was not obviously the intention behind the people who created this, but that's what it kind of turned into. And the Neo World program, that's just basically, I think, the world that we are in at the moment. It is possible to undo trauma sustained in the real world through the use of virtual world. That's another thing. Like it could be that we were put into this virtual world to undo some of the trauma that we've experienced from the real world, and that's partly like why our memory is wiped as well. I think could be a reason for that. It was hope the program was creating hope, but it became filled with. So I think that's that last sentence. It was a program for creating hope, but it became filled with death and violence. It's just basically, you know, the goal of, I don't know exactly who put us in there, whether it was the Future Foundation or Makoto working for the Future Foundation at that point. I'm not entirely certain which one of those it is, but we were put into this program as a means of creating hope, right? The entire goal that Makoto explained was that we were supposed to gather hope fragments. Once we've all gathered the hope fragments with the help of Monami as the observer guiding us along, she would then we would then enter enter the ancient ruin, which is Hope's Peak Academy, to then face the graduation exam, and then after we would be done with that, we would graduate, and that was the entire point of kind of this Neo World program, I think. But we were put into this program at an early experimental stage, so it wasn't 100% done, right? It was still in beta or something like that. So there are possible faults that could have happened, but the reason probably why we're being put into it earlier than expected was just because there was a need for it. There was a time limit in which they had to get this done, and they couldn't get it done in time, so it's just like, well, fuck it, we just gotta put them in now. So I think that's the reason behind it. Observers, this is the kind of important part. In the Neo World program, 2 observers take on the role of teacher and student respectively. An enormous amount of authority is given to the teacher observer and includes the power to create rules within the program. So that was what Monami originally had at the beginning, you know, when she was waving around the magic staff, like, ooh, yeah. Like she was the queen of the world, which she was because she was the observer, so she has that power. But then the virus came in, Monokuma broke her magic staff or wand, and Monami lost that power. So that was Monami. Monami is definitely observer. The other observer, which took on the student role, was Chiaki. So that's why she's being called the traitor, right? That's why she works for the Future Foundation. So she was an observer as well, but with less power. She had to pretend to be similar like us, but she couldn't interfere with anything because of her lack of power. But her goal was, along with Monami, to, you know, guide us along. And it's so much easier to have someone on the, like, if as a teacher or in Monami's position, right, if you're trying to guide people along, it's so much easier to already have one person on the inside pretending to not know you and to just be on your side, you know. For example, if Monami sort of starts to say like, alright guys, let's go bungee jumping right now, and then if there are other 14 students are like, I'm not so sure about this, and then Chiaki starts shouting like, alright guys, we can do this, let's do this, because she did that a lot of the times as well, you know. In a lot of the dire moments, she was the first person that always said like, well, it sucks, but we gotta do it, we gotta keep pressing on, we gotta keep going. And I feel like that's what Chiaki's role just was, to entirely get people to just to guide people along the right path, and she did that very well, especially considering how the rules changed the moment the virus / Monokuma entered, or, you know, became part of this program. But she still did an amazing job of that. And yeah, but if the virus hadn't come along, Chiaki was just basically that person that was supposed to guide us along and just give us that little bit of nudge that we would need sometimes to be convinced to follow Monami, to follow the real observer. Alright, next one, 11037, a password to enter the ancient ruin. Even the teacher doesn't know it. For the person who set up their password, this number is very meaningful to them, so definitely Makoto, right? It seems to be that it's Makoto. I kind of mentioned in the previous video that it could be someone else, because the whole thing about Danganronpa 1, right, it was broadcasted to the entire world. So the entire world does know about 11037. They do know that code. But for Makoto specifically, it holds a very special meaning to him, right? Because it was the first friend that he kind of made at that point, and it was a person that he knew earlier in school as well, that he apparently had a crush on, Sayaka, back then, you know, blah blah blah. But it has this very special meaning to him. But it's not something that only Makoto could know because of the fact that it was broadcasted. So someone could definitely pretend to be Makoto and say like, oh, this is the code, it's very meaningful to us, but you know, everybody technically kind of has that information. Shutdown sequence, a special command that can be used during the graduation exam. If you use this, you can override the observer and forcibly escape from the Neo World program. Not even the teacher observer can prevent that. So I guess this is just worst case scenario. It's kind of like a evacuation seat. I almost said something much worse, which I definitely should. Luckily I didn't say that, but like an evacuation sheet button, you know, you just press it or you say that command and then boom, we're out of here. Seems like a fail safe. Future Foundation's origins. To combat the biggest, most awful, most tragic event in human history, the graduates of the Hope Seeking Academy were among the many who established the Future Foundation. So it was basically just to fight back against the despair that was overtaking the world. I guess that's the simplest way to put it. Reserve department, I think that's pretty much it. Yeah, that's it. Alright. Let us, I guess I'm ready. Let's finish the preparations and then get the show on the road.
I did say I wanted you guys to know the outside world, but this is still a questionable starting topic. Let me ask you this. What is this world's true identity?
Huh? This world's true identity? What kind of question is that?
Fake, virtual. This world's true identity. If I answer this, it will be true. And that lie will become the truth. But there's no way I can leave it unanswered. Hangman's Gambit. Let's see. Virtual, I guess. Bam, virtual.
I got it!
Uh-oh.
This world. This Jabberwock Island we're on.
It's a virtual world that was inspired by the actual Jabberwock Island.
Hey!
You didn't even let us answer that, but okay.
So, this isn't the real world, but if you want, you can call it the game world. You get it? It's all just one big game.
Yeah, I get it.
Are you friggin' serious?
Don't fucking mess with me, you bastard! Did you have us all come here just to tell us bullshit?
But they must have, if all of them, you know, got the same information that Hajime did, they must have at least thought it at some point. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's definitely hard to believe, you know, especially considering everything that you sort of gone through, and then you have to think back, like, what the fuck, that was actually all fake? That was actually inside a virtual world, the game world? Like, that definitely takes some time to process and to actually believe. But I feel like if they've all got the same information that we did, all the clues and stuff, they should have thought it at least at some point, but perhaps they just brush it off as a lie.
If this is a game, are my words being displayed in a text window right now?
Yep.
That's stupid. There's no way that's even possible.
I know. The all-in-your-mind trope makes you feel such cruel despair. But who cares? I've revived all the suspense and mystery with just one line. 'Cause it's a game!
It's a game.
Then we were forced to kill each other.
But well, that's the thing that I'm thinking about. Did we only die inside the game, or does dying inside the game also means we die in real life? That's kind of what I'm wondering.
'Cause it's a game!
That's just this. It's a game. It doesn't matter anymore. It's all a game.
A lot of crazy shit happened.
'Cause it's a game.
'Cause it's a game!
I knew it.
We're the only people here.
'Cause it's a game.
Monokuma's nonsensical abilities.
'Cause it's a game!
Don't fuck with me! That's not even possible!
I
'Cause
know
it's a
you guys
game.
are
Oh, fuck.
pissed, but you were having fun too, right? A world where anything goes only exists in games.
The thing is, if we were to have been told this before, we could have just gone fucking crazy, you know? Because then we know this is not real. This is sort of a game world, but yeah, obviously that wouldn't have worked, but it would have been more fun for us to know, because then we could have done things that, you know, we know that the things that we do probably doesn't have much repercussions in the real world. Like, sure, okay, the people that we actually do here, they probably do remember what we did, but you can just do things that you wouldn't or couldn't otherwise do in the real world. That's what I'm trying to say.
So just force yourself to accept it. This closed space, this game world, was the true stage of this killing school trip.
Already accepted it.
Just stop. There's no way. There's no way I'm gonna believe that.
Back in the day, people must have reacted the same way when they first saw the airplane take flight.
Airplane? Oh, I thought he meant airplane in this game, but he meant like, you know, in the real world airplane. Yeah, okay.
But like wearing contact lenses, it'll stop feeling strange once you just get used to it.
That's true. I used to wear contacts for a really long time, up until the point where I got over my vain part where I just, you know, didn't want to wear glasses and just embraced it and just realized glasses is so much fucking easier. I'm just gonna wear glasses instead.
Please do not compare reality to contact lenses.
I mean, if this really is a virtual world, what does that make us?
People inside the virtual world?
You better not say we're fictional characters.
The Future Foundation created this world using a program called the Neo World Program.
Boom. Okay.
It's programmed to place the user in a virtual world by synchronizing directly with the user's brain.
So you are laying in some sort of like a pod or something, you know, similar like if you watch the Avatar movies or anything along those lines. Yeah, alright.
Which means your bodies still exist in the real world.
Okay, so everyone who died didn't die in the real world.
But right now, you're completely submerged in the game world, as if you're dreaming or something.
Okay, but what happened to the people that died then? Did they wake up in the real world and it's like, oh, wait, this was all a game? Oh, fuck. And then what do they think then? What happens then?
Simply put, you're, you know, not aviators, but...
You mean Avatar, right?
Yeah.
An existence created in the game is a copy of the user's real body.
Boom.
But we're not just regular avatars, right?
Your avatars were constructed by removing a specific thing from your bodies in the real world.
Removing specific thing?
What did you remove?
Oh, the memories? Specific thing that was removed from our bodies. Is definitely talking about that. Our ultimate talents, no school memories. Yeah, no, definitely this one.
I see.
What was removed from us was our school memories, right?
Which means we're avatars that were created from our memories from before we entered the academy?
So that's why we don't have our memories of our lives at Hope's Peak Academy?
Don't talk like that! Like we're made from memories of the past. Like we're avatars. Like this is a game world. How'd we end up talking about sci-fi crap? I'll never believe it!
That's true, like it just suddenly came like, oh yeah, well, it's all sci-fi. Like, you know, it suddenly got the sci-fi twist to it, added to it.
How many times do I have to tell you? It's not sci-fi, it's a game!
This world is a virtual reality created by a computer program. We can't proceed if we don't accept it. Is believing him really the only thing we can do? Yep. List of subjects, founder, Neo World Program. Could be this one. But I think...
Is there any evidence that this is really a game world?
You are the evidence!
What does that mean?
Your avatar's made of memories from before you entered the school! But your actual bodies in the real world are different.
Oh,
Though you have no memories of your time living your school life, your real bodies actually lived that life.
What game world?
You live...
What avatar? I'm a human being with a real body!
True. This is a virtual world. Your avatars that were created for this real world. I don't want to believe something like that. But... if he...
Is there any evidence that this is really a game world?
You are the
The
evidence!
list of subjects is definitely it, I think.
What does that mean?
Because it's about us.
Your
like, those
avatar's
names
made
on
of
the
memories
list.
from before you entered the school! But your actual, though you have no memories of your real
Bodies actually live that life.
That must be it.
I think so. Nice.
Earlier, in the teacher's lounge, I found this strange newspaper clipping.
The thing that I'm thinking right now, right, is that if our avatars is different from our body in the real world, considering there are kind of similarities to these crew with, like, you know, with some people of Danganronpa 1, could it actually be that Makoto and stuff are actually inside those pods, and then inside this world they're, you know, like, for example, Hajime is in the real world he's actually Makoto, but Makoto is in the avatar world, in this world he's Hajime, if that kind of makes sense? I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't talk about that just yet. Hiyoko?
There's a picture of Hiyoko, but she looked more like an adult than the Hiyoko we knew.
Like an adult? What does that mean?
Since we're avatars right now, we look exactly as we did before we entered the school.
Oh, right, okay, so yeah. So our avatars right now was actually before we entered the school. So in reality, in the real world, we're actually older. So that picture was probably taken after in the real world, I guess. Yeah, definitely. For sure.
But in the real world, we've already lived out our school lives.
Uh-huh.
Which means we've grown that much older. And among us, some aged so much we didn't recognize them.
And you were saying that happened to Hiyoko?
Yep.
It appears Hiyoko had a growth spurt during the school year. Looks like the other shorty graduated, Fuyuhiko.
Huh.
I can't believe that. You're just making shit up.
But if you guys only had memory loss, your body still should have grown during that time, right?
Yep.
So you should have felt your bodies go through growth spurts. But why didn't you guys recognize each other?
Huh.
Because we did not know each other before we lost our memories.
Uh-huh.
If we all met after we lost our school memories, it's no different than meeting each other for the first time.
Exactly, which is why at the beginning of the game, everybody's like having this introduction with each other.
Since we didn't know each other before that, we wouldn't have noticed how much we've all grown.
Because it's our first time meeting that person. So you can't compare it. There's nothing to compare it to. No. Hold on. Oh, wait! If we didn't know each other before, we wouldn't have known if we aged or not by looking at each other. But didn't Fuyuhiko and Peko Pekoyama know each other before then? They did, right? Then wouldn't he have noticed a difference? Exactly. Exactly. Fuyuhiko should know a difference then, because he and Peko Pekoyama go way back, even before entering the school. So if someone knows, it's gotta be Fuyuhiko, indeed.
You're the only one!
You're the only one.
Hey, Fuyuhiko, you knew Peko for a long time, right?
Yeah, now that you mention it. Seems weird. No, now that I think about it, it's definitely strange.
Strange? What is?
Our school memories. About how many days' worth were taken away.
As the creators of the Neo World program, only the Future Foundation would know the details, but around 2 or 3 years worth, I assume.
Okay, 2 or 3 years, yeah.
That long?
I mean, it was kind of similar in Danganronpa 1 too.
Peko and I have seen each other almost every single day of our lives. If we lost 2 years worth of memories, we would have noticed that we were older than we remembered.
So, does that mean our memory loss is another one of Monokuma's lies?
I don't know.
Your refusal to accept your mutual memory loss is why you can't notice all the important parts. You've lost your memories, end of story. You guys are avatars who had their memories taken from them.
Okay.
This is a virtual world, and we're virtual avatars. Are you saying we just have to accept that?
It's just so much easier to accept it. Like, otherwise you're just going to fight against whatever Monokuma keeps saying every single time, and it's... like, he has the upper hand in the situation, right? So, I feel like the best thing to do is to just accept it. whenever we do feel like we see glaring contradictions, and sure, we'll mention it, but I feel like with most, we just kind of have to swallow it and accept it.
I can feel my heartbeat, and I know what I smell like. So what do you call these things I'm feeling? Are you saying these are all lies?
It's an incredibly realistic virtual world.
Just because it's a game doesn't mean everything was a lie. Have you heard that when you're hypnotized to believe you've been burned, a burn mark will really appear?
Really?
So if our brains believe something is real,
The
it's no different than if it actually happened?
placebo and nocebo effect thingy.
Now that you mention it, I did hear about a phenomenon quite similar to that. In a distant country, there was a certain experiment carried out on one of their prisoners. The prisoner was blindfolded, strapped to a bed, and had small wounds applied to his toes to drain his blood. That prisoner was left alone in the experiment room, as the sound of dripping blood echoed throughout the room. But in fact, his blood was not being drained.
We see the back of her.
He was just forced to listen to the sound of dripping water, but he believed he was bleeding to death.
Oh god.
However, in spite of that, the prisoner still died.
Damn.
As expected of Miss Sonia, your knowledge of state-sanctioned torture is amazing.
Amazing.
If a lie is a believable lie, you're saying it might become the truth?
Uh-huh.
We're really just connected to machines and stuff. And our consciousness was uploaded into here. So we genuinely believe that this game world was real.
Yep.
Then the Jabberwock Island we've been living on.
Fake.
Of course, that's also a virtual world.
Everything. Even Titty Typhoon.
That sea, that beach, the buildings, everything. It's all a virtual world created by the Neo World program. It's just like this space we're in right now. What we see before us is a virtual environment created by the program. It looks real because our brains think it's real.
That's why, in the end, what? Holy shit. It was all just a creation. That's the truth. Oh god. Enter the Matrix. The truth is, it was all a lie. That is the world's truth.
If everything's a lie, then what should we believe?
I guess the only one we, at the moment, can believe is Monokuma, I guess.
Who cares if it's a lie?
Hey, what are you getting at?
I mean, if this is really a game world, everything that happened here took place inside the game,
True.
right?
I guess what he's trying to say is that whatever we did in here doesn't have repercussions in the real world at all. But the thing is, our brains still remember what kind of happened, you know? And it has accepted, at least before this point, as reality. But like, I feel like what I'm wondering is what exactly is gonna happen now. Like, the brain has been fooled over this amount of time that we spent here in this virtual world, right? But how is it going to adapt to this sort of information? I don't know.
Then that must mean...
They not dead. Oh my god, look at all of them. Chihaki!
That's right. The killings we were forced to commit were part of some silly game. Everyone who was killed should still be alive in the real world.
Hopefully, but we don't know what's happening in the real world, right? I guess that's Monokuma's point. That's why he's like giving us the option to either stay in here or graduate, because, well, you know, we don't know what's happening in the real world. They could all also just be killed in the real world as well, and they're dead there too.
Oh yeah, just because they died in the virtual world doesn't mean they died in real life.
Because the thing that could happen, you know, they could just put someone just outside where all the pods are, where all the people are inside of, right? And the moment someone dies in the game, that person that's just waiting on the outside for them, the moment, let's say, the first time, you know, Teru dies, he steps out of his pod and then he sees just that dude in front of him with an axe and he gets killed. Now, you know, that's something that could happen as well. They didn't technically die the moment they died in the virtual world. They didn't die at the same time in real life, but they could still die in real life. There's no guarantee that they're alive.
So, you are saying everyone is still alive?
That would be best case scenario. I hope so, please.
Yeah, that's it. Isn't that right, Monokuma?
Yeah.
What's so funny?
I don't like that answer. He wasn't actually giving an answer, and that's the part I don't like.
If a lie is a believable lie, it might become the truth.
Oh,
That's
God.
what you said earlier, Fuyuhiko.
Oh, so you're saying... Oh, fuck. So you're saying just because it's a believable lie, that's actually the truth?
Don't tell me.
No.
You mean...
No. The Neo World program isn't just any game. It's next-gen software containing the ultimate reality.
What?
And speaking of that reality, if a player's avatar experiences death,
No.
their brains inside their actual bodies will stop functioning too!
No, you're fucking with me.
What?
Fuck.
Then everyone who died...
It's not like their bodies are completely dead, so I can't say it's a true death,
They're
but
just brain dead?
that's why it's actually crueler instead. All that's left of them are empty husks.
Okay, I guess they're just considered brain dead, right?
Are you saying they will never awaken again?
What the fuck?
That's much crueler.
What the fuck?
Get him, Fuyuhiko.
Well, nobody's gonna appreciate a game where you don't die when you're supposed to, right?
I guess.
What game? That's not what we risked our lives for.
If you want to be mad, please be mad at the Future Foundation. They're forcing you to play this game.
No, you're forcing us to die though, right?
Future Foundation? The people from the Future Foundation made us play this sick game? Everything was their doing?
Then, Monomi and Chiaki were...
No.
They betrayed the Future Foundation to protect us. And then we were taken out.
Huh.
I see. So our real enemy is the Future Foundation!
Could be. I'm still unsure about this. The Future Foundation is our real enemy? Huh. Is that it? Is that really it? I don't know. Fuck. Let's see.
The Neo World program was developed by... the Future Foundation, right?
The ones who trapped us in here. It's all the Future Foundation's doing, right?
And the enemy is the Future Foundation! I mean, a group that would make a killing game. There's no
Killing
way
game.
they're good guys!
But the
Then
Neo...
the Future Foundation is... truly an organization of evil!
I don't think it started out that way. Who's our enemy? Is it the Future Foundation? The thing is,
The Neo World program was
they
developed
created
by...
first the Neo World
the
program,
Future
right?
Foundation, right?
Yeah, they created it, but their
The ones who
intention
trapped
wasn't
us
for it
in
to be
here.
a killing game.
It's all the Future
And the enemy is the I mean,
A group that would make a killing game.
No, that's wrong. Originally, in the world created by the Neo World program, a concept like violence never existed.
then why is there killing going on?
Virus.
The virus that invaded this program is forcing us to kill each other.
Could it be that virus is...
Monokuma, yeah. But then the part that happened in the previous video is what I'm really wondering about, right? Who is the I feel like it has someone like manually program or like copied transported this virus onto the main server or main computer where this World program is running on, right? So the person that put the virus in here has to be someone on the inside, unless someone managed to infiltrate or, you know, sneak into the Future Foundation's headquarters to then upload this virus onto. But if that isn't the case, it's gotta be someone from the inside, actually. And that's the thing that kind of scares me, because I was thinking at some point maybe Makoto himself did it. I don't know.
You're right. Until Monokuma appeared, this island was giving off a really peaceful vibe.
Yep.
Yeah. It didn't get weird until Usami was remodeled as Monami.
Monami, what sort of role did such a lost girl like her have in this world?
I almost forgot her name before this was indeed Usami, but I just got so used to Monami, you know?
Hey, don't change the subject.
I mean, if someone is called Monami for 6 chapters and like only during the introduction phase it's Usami, you tend to call that person or tend to know that character as Monami most of the time, right? But that's also something we need to clear up. Monami, or Usami's role that she had in this world was teacher, chaperone, magical girl, observer, Monokuma spare. Observer.
I see! She was the observer of the Neo World program. Isn't that right?
That's right! She was an NPC that was assigned the role of observer.
NPC.
NPC? What's that?
Non-playable character.
Non-player character. A character that's not controlled by a person. It's different from avatars like us.
Monami's existence was created entirely by the program, just to monitor the 15 of you.
Please wait! Did you just say 15 people?
See, that's the thing, indeed, that now it's being brought up. Like, 15 people. Would I have 16 at the beginning or not? The thing is, I don't want to look it up right now. But I feel like something about the number 15 feels really iffy to me. Because something similar happened in Danganronpa 1. There's only one hidden student that we didn't know about. But, what?
Have you forgotten how to count? We're 16
Okay, so it was
people
16
in total.
So yeah, okay, so 15 in total because Chiaki is the other observer pretending to be a student. Okay, that seems to add up nicely.
He was probably excluding the other observer.
Huh? Another observer?
The Future Foundation's other observer. That has to be referring to that person. Chiaki Nanami, Monokuma Usami, Chiaki for sure.
Aside from the 15 participants, there were 2 observers in the Neo World program. One of them was Monami, and the other one was...
Chiaki.
Could it have been Chiaki?
My girl Chiaki.
Yeah, you're right.
You're saying Chiaki was an NPC?
So you're saying
didn't think
she
about
was
that?
just a program? And she didn't
Fuck.
actually exist in real life?
I didn't actually think about that. No. Did I fall in love with an NPC? God damn it.
Then
Not the first time
she
it happened.
wasn't human?
Oh god. No, you're kidding me. She didn't exist at all? Not human?
No, that's not it. Chiaki was really alive.
I hope so.
Even if she was a virtual existence, she was really alive. Did you forget? She saved our lives, you know?
Yeah, no NPC does that inside a game.
Don't get all mushy towards a game character.
Hey, I always do that, okay?
Shut up!
That's the only reason to play games.
Plus, she wasn't just a little game character. She was a lackey for the detestable World Ender.
God dang it, World Ender. Like, we don't know exactly like who exactly the World Ender is, although it was kind of mentioned World Ender and Future Foundation are kind of similar or the same, but World Ender?
Now that you mention it, you referred to the
Yeah.
Future Foundation by that name before.
That just means it was all a bluff, right? So we think that the Future Foundation was our enemy.
This is why it's so confusing.
Do not joke about the world ending.
It's true though, I believe that part for sure.
No, there's no doubt that the Future Foundation is also World Ender. At least for those of us here.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, if you're gonna put it in that perspective, only for us here, not the world end. You know, they are the world ender for this virtual world, I guess, is what Monokuma is trying to say, rather than the world ender for the real world. Okay, yeah, I guess. For everyone who's here?
Hey, what do you mean, those of us here? Why are you lumping us with you?
It's just a bluff.
Monokuma, what exactly are you?
He's the virus, right?
Why don't you just show us your true self already?
Uh-oh.
What, you can't talk?
Uh-oh. Didn't something similar happen back then, too?
It is cowardly of you to just ignore us!
And then boom, Junko.
Before I reveal my true identity to you guys, it appears the main cast has finally arrived.
Oh, show me, please. Huh?
Main cast?
Oh, fuck. I want to see who is the main cast.
Speaking of which, this
No.
guy is a member of World Ender.
Okay, yeah, also Free Divination.
What? World Ender?
What was that word? Whoa, what? Who is that? Who was that? Why did that voice? What?